Hello, welcome to Utterly Geek Social Hour for the final full week of October 2018. I'm Darren Bell. I'm joined with Chris Walczyk, and we're here to talk about different stuff that we've experienced over the past week.
Well, 2 weeks, but
2 weeks,
a
yeah.
little while.
A little while. It's been a little bit, and I got some shit, man. Hey, man.
So what kind of shit? Hey kid, what kind of shit do you got again?
So I was traveling last week for work.
Mm.
Skyrim on Switch is real good.
You got Skyrim on Switch?
I've had Skyrim.
Oh, okay.
I just really got back into Skyrim.
Okay.
Because of that trip, and yeah, Skyrim's still good. Like, I have nothing more to add. I'm playing a mage. I've never really played a mage in that game.
I always think
weird.
I always think like a battle mage is the way to go with Skyrim, because if you do straight up just magic, I feel like it's nearly impossible.
It isn't, though. Let me tell you the secret.
Okay.
You go into conjuration.
Okay.
And you conjure your swords. That way you get the conjuration bonus damage and the melee bonus damage. Your conjured swords end up being kind of stronger than anything else. It kind of breaks the shit out of it. The only problem is I'm also doing enchanting, and I got the bound weapons do soul trap. So all of my soul gems are filled with lesser souls. So, yeah, I should just carry a regular sword so I stop plugging up all my goddamn soul gems. Yeah. But yeah, Skyrim in the fall, for some reason, just lines up so well. It's a good fall game.
I mean, it did come out 11/11.
November. Yeah, 11/11/11. But yeah, there's not much else to be said. Skyrim's real good. But Soul Calibur 6 came out this last weekend, and holy shit, Soul Calibur 6 is pretty good. Now,
what are you playing that on? PC?
PC.
Okay.
PC. And that I've been seeing reports about them dealing with Windows weird, where people are getting hit with anti-cheat and like copyright protection stuff in not great ways. I haven't run into that yet. I'm not playing it online. I haven't really played it online yet. But I've run through the arcade mode. I've gone through the actual core story. Now, I thought when it first came out that they were going to do this. They'd said that this was going to be a retelling of all of the Soul Calibur games. But the core story seems to only recover the events of the first Soul Calibur, which is the sequel to Soul Edge or Soul Blade, depending on which one you played.
Okay.
But it is legitimately the Dreamcast storyline, just a little bit more in depth.
Okay.
I haven't finished it completely yet. Like, there's the core, like, this is the core storyline. Play through this line, and you kind of play just as Killick, and it's a story of Killick, Maxie, and Shan Fa going through and finding Soul Calibur, defeating Soul Edge, all that shit. But then it breaks out to each of the individual characters and what they're doing at different times. To kind of get a little bit more in depth with it. So that's interesting, and I like that. It's kind of easy pick up and play. The storyline for Geralt getting there is dumb as hell, but it's perfectly in line with both Soul Calibur and The Witcher.
Okay.
He finds a witch who's playing around with teleportation magic, and she just teleports him to get him the fuck away from her, and he ends up in a weird duplicate Kaer Morhen that isn't really Kaer Morhen in the world of Soul Calibur.
Okay.
And right. I have a difficult time trying to figure out, because it sounds like the original voice actor. But I'm not sure if it's just a really good duplicate. But I haven't really played with... I played with Geralt a little bit, mashed with him. Of course, my primary is Ivy, and they really changed up how she works in this game. They've made her a lot more simple. It feels a lot more like they reeled it back to Soul Calibur 1. She's only got 2 stances. It's good. It's a really good game. There's another single player mode called Libra of Souls, which is more of like a choose your own adventure type. all the stories told with text boxes.
Hmm.
And if you played the Soul Calibur 2 single player, where you're kind of moving around this map and you'll run into, oh, the floor is real slippery here, so don't fall off. That's the kind of thing they do. They put you into weird situations like that. But you have to make a character to play through that.
Okay.
So you can't play as any of the main characters, but you collect weapons, which will change your fight style to be like any of the other characters. So I just made a base ass. You can select Android as a character type. So I made a robot and named her Arduina because I thought that was funny. It's really stupid, but it there's a whole leveling system and the gear collection and weird shit like that. Like you have to worry about eating food, which will change your stats going into the fight. Yeah, it looks like there's a ton to this mode, and I need to give more time to it. But hey, if you liked Soul Calibur, if you like Soul Calibur 1 and 2 and kind of fell off of the other ones, this is the one to come back to.
Yeah.
Like this one is better than 3, 4, or 5, hardly.
Yeah.
They kind of changed up how throws work, and I don't like that. The big difference is they have a, what's it called? Reversal edge. So if someone's just hammering on you, just fucking going to goddamn town, you can hit guard and B, which used to be a throw, and your character automatically takes a stance, parries the next couple of shots, and then tries to get a hit in. If you land that hit, it slows down into like this rock, paper, scissors mode, where horizontal attacks beat kicks, kicks beat vertical, vertical beats horizontal.
Right.
And it slows down and everyone makes their selection and then you clash and eventually you break out. It's basically a way to break out of someone endlessly comboing you.
Thank God.
Yeah, but it just breaks up the flow, but I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Is that it's supposed to be like, yo, fucking back off and do this.
Please stop wailing on him.
Yeah. They also
that would be something I would fucking use all the goddamn time in when I used to play Mortal Kombat online.
Oh yeah,
because there's so many instances where just I couldn't get a single fucking hit in because people would know the exact timing as to like when the animation of me getting up would start and when that hitbox is available, and they would fucking just know
when your iframes run out, they can just start comboing again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, this is a good way to fucking get someone to back off, but also if you're really good at it, you can counter their reversal edge before it hits you.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of skill to it. I'm really curious to see what this ends up looking like.
Right.
In a competitive sense.
Right.
I also went all out and got the like season pass version because it's it's my baby. It's my fighting game.
Yeah.
So of course I'm gonna do that. But those DLC characters, there's already one out of the gate which has people mad, rightfully so. Tira. She's from the earlier games. She has her own story in the story mode. Which makes me really curious where this game is gonna go. Like, if I finish everyone's story, is that gonna unlock like the next chapter, or is a DLC character gonna suddenly shoot to the front and become the tipping point for the next bit of story? I'm really curious to see where this goes. It's really good. It's a really good game, and the PC port's solid.
Nice.
I've had it crash on me once, but I think that's more my system than it is Soul Calibur itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. It does a quick run up of the Soul Edge story, and then it's like, okay, now you're in the story mode. I still don't know what the new guy Gro's deal is. He kind of shows up. Yeah, I think there's time travel involved. I'm not sure, but that would make sense for that.
Okay.
Outside of Soul Calibur, I managed to pick up when I was in Portland. I went to this giant bookstore, Powell's, and I found a signed copy of Crash Override, which is Zoe Quinn's book from her perspective on all of Gamergate.
Okay.
I'm about a quarter of the way through it. It's really, she's an immediately sympathetic character.
Mm.
She's an immediately sympathetic person. She apparently grew up in upstate New York, where people unironically fly
Away.
Confederate flags and
Oh,
don't
okay.
realize they're in New York.
I,
And
I thought
yeah,
you meant away, but I mean, sure.
well, also,
Also that.
also that to a point. But yeah, it's really fascinating seeing her take on it, because her whole thesis is basically the internet destroyed my life,
Hmm.
but the only thing that we can use to counter this kind of toxic use is the internet.
Yeah.
We need to use it to fight itself.
Right.
And it's good so far. I want to see what kind of detail she gets into.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me really want to take a look at Depression Quest. I remember when that first came out and the whole hubbub around it. Oh, it's not even a game. Blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
And me being the uninformed asshole, I just never gave it two shakes.
Right.
But being where I am now and how I interact with games, it's probably right up my fucking alley. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll let you know. It was a signed copy too, which makes me really happy.
Nice.
Other than that, I'm dipping my toes back into Dark Souls for some reason. I started that again this morning.
Yeah.
I think now I'm ready for it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with Dark Souls, right? Because it was the same thing for me, and I'll say it every fucking time you bring up Dark Souls. Hey, man, I didn't really get into it the first time. I didn't really get into it the second time. But the third time, everything just fucking clicked. And I was like, this game makes fucking sense, and it's so good.
What class did you go with?
Oh god. I think I went with it was like a fighter, but not like I could still use speed to my advantage, but it wasn't knight. It was one where it was like I could be a little bit more agile, but I was still strong as well.
Okay.
I don't really remember. I would have to look that up, but yeah, because I didn't do straight up warrior, but I would probably recommend people who have played that game for the first time to play as warrior, because that's just
exactly what I'm doing.
because that's straight up beefcake. Like, you're given shit tons of strength and stamina, and the only thing
You have plate armor and
yeah, and you could take hits. But no, I don't know. I kind of, for some reason, when I play Dark Souls, it was just like I wanted to just fucking be agile, and get around and be able to parry and dodge, all these things. And like, once I kind of got my endurance high enough to be like, all right, yeah, this feels pretty comfortable, then I would just focus on strength, like straight up, so that way it would just be fucking deal more damage. And then once I got into some new areas and get my shit wrecked, I'd be like, all right, just put more points into health and like all this shit. Like magic, obviously, fuck that noise. That's
I was kind of interested in that. I want to see how the spellcasting actually goes. And from my understanding, I can kind of pivot into any of those later on, right?
Yeah.
So really all you're doing when you first pick your character, it's what do you want your starting stats to be?
Yeah.
And what do you want your starting armor to look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I kind of get you now a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up grabbing like the 3 ultra heal items as my item to bring with me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, I have some things. And when you do warrior, you start with 10 Estus flasks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, give me easy mode. This is
Yeah. Right.
It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's really all I've been up to.
Nice. Let's see. As far as like books, I actually finished. I don't know if I mentioned this. I did finish the Strain series. I finished the trilogy.
really?
I don't know if I don't know if I mentioned that last time. Yeah, I finished the 3rd Strain book. Which I was like, okay, cool. Now maybe I'll eventually watch the show. So I finished that, started and finished the God of War book, which is wonderful.
Really?
I recommend it after playing the game, only because like the game is fucking excellent. As far as just like performances and the storytelling and all that, this is just basically the audiobook just gives you more of an in-depth thought process of each character in certain story beats.
Gotcha.
So you kind of get more of like an idea of like what they're thinking during those situations, and like them questioning themselves or questioning what's going on, or all these like kind of like inner monologue things that you don't get through the game. So that's kind of interesting, but yeah, I would say if you kind of want like more out of God of War, I would say listen to the audiobook. Otherwise, like just play the game. I mean, I'm kind of curious as to how people would react without playing the game and just listening to the audiobook. And then, because it's just it's kind of weird, like I don't know, especially with like all the combat segments. It's like there's so many times where it's like a lot of during the combat segments, it's like, man, I remember this being really fucking tough, but it's like, oh, Kratos cleaved him in one slice, and I'm like, cool. Like,
yeah, I don't think there's a huge audience for people who have not played the game.
Right. Well, what's really crazy is they got fucking the original God of War games on audiobook format. So if you think even more so of there being an audience for this God of War, like with something like with the classic God of War games, where it's like even less narrative, there's audiobooks out there for that.
Oh yeah, but there's always been game books left and right.
Right. I just think it's funny because that's immediately what popped up after I was done with that book. It was like, hey, check out these other God of War titles. I was like, no, I already played those, and those are probably not narratively that great to tell. Yeah.
If you want a legitimately good video game book series that expands on the world in just the right ways,
Halo.
Yes.
Okay.
But also the Mass Effect books.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because there's one of them that's entirely about Anderson and Saren. Like their whole mission and what happened there.
Okay.
Like that's really good. Not to say that the God of War books aren't good, because I can't judge them.
Right.
But yeah, no, the first Halo book's really good. The Mass Effect books I will recommend left and right.
Okay.
They're good. If you're a fan of Mass Effect. If you're not a fan of Mass Effect, don't even bother.
that might have to go on my list soon. I have other books I want to get to as well.
Oh yeah.
But after being done with God of War, I started Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
The audiobook of that, which is read by Stephen Fry. And it's fucking excellent, especially with him reading it, because he's just an excellent person. And yeah, I'm already, where am I? So it's kind of weird how it's laid out in Audible, because it says 5 chapters, but it's
oh no, it's one of those.
Yeah, it's like each chapter is like an hour and a half or whatever. Yeah, so it's like, it's by Audible standards, I'm on chapter 4, but I'm really on like so I'm like basically more than halfway through the book at this point where I'm at. But yeah, it's fucking wonderful. I love it, and I don't know why I held out for so long, and know that there was a lot of that humor was inspired a lot of other things that came afterwards. Like, that kind of humor is just right up my fucking alley. And it was just like, man, this shit, like, existed way before some of the other things.
Yeah, so now you're on the full trilogy once you're through all 5 books.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's called. Even though there's 5 books, it's still the trilogy. Because, of course, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so did that. Started watching, which of all things, because it just came out this past week, was Daredevil. That's on Netflix. Only like 4 episodes in of the 3rd season.
Okay. I was gonna say, it just doesn't sound like a new show. I
No,
can't remember.
no. Yeah, no. I've been watching the third season. Yeah, like 4 episodes in. I'm still on board with the show. I don't know. Like, there's not a lot of TV shows lately that I really watch, or like when they come out, I'm like, oh man, I really want to fucking watch that. Like, there's a lot of shows I also just kind of fall off of, like. Like fucking Doctor Who. like
Yeah,
like
I haven't seen any of the new season.
yeah, like I heard the first episode of the new season was pretty good.
They're 3 episodes deep now.
Okay, well, there you go. Just goes to show how much I'm keeping track of that. Yeah, like, and I was loving Capaldi too. Like, I was really enjoying all of his episodes, and then I just like stopped watching.
Oh, so you haven't even watched his finale?
No.
Oh.
Nope. I haven't.
Oh. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, the furthest we got was like, I think it was one of the Christmas specials that we got to, because then there was like the Christmas special, and then like one more season, I think, and then it was another special, and that was it. I think. I don't know. I'd have to really research it. But anyway, Daredevil. No, really enjoying it. Fucking man, I love the guy who plays as Kingpin, which I know he also. God damn it, what did he play?
The guy who plays as Kingpin.
Yeah, he. Oh Jesus, he played in like a very well known. Oh, that's right, he played as the Oh god, one of the army dudes in Full Metal Jacket. The one who kills himself in the beginning. It's that actor, and he plays as Kingpin.
That guy that played Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yeah.
That's literally the first thing that came up when I googled that guy that played Kingpin.
Nice. But yeah, no, he's awesome. He's so good as Kingpin in that series. I love it. He's so like, you know that he's evil and he does bad things, but like he's just the way of his performance. It's almost one of those things where it's like it outweighs of like his whole him being evil in a sense. It's like you really sympathize with him just because of just his performance of this character. But you're like, oh yeah, but he's a fucking bad guy because he still does bad shit every now and then. But like, I don't know. That's really why I guess I'm really enjoying that show, is just because fucking Kingpin is so good in that series. Yeah, so that's mostly what I've been watching.
Nice.
As far as like TV shows, for games, I mean, fucking, hey man, Black Ops 4 came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got lots to say. Let's see, where do you think I should start, Darren? We got like 4 categories that we could basically start with, and I mean 4 that we
Let's
could
start
cover.
with the dumb one. Have you played zombies?
Yes, I have, as a matter of fact.
Okay, follow-up question.
Okay.
Why?
Curiosity.
Good answer.
It was straight up curiosity. I was just like, hey, I never really gave zombies a true shot, so let me try it. By the way,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say this is on PC, so this is through BattleNet, where I got the game.
Okay, so isn't zombies just basically the horde mode?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so they have this like. They have supposedly 4 different modes that goes with this horde mode. They're like pseudo modes kind of, but they're also when I say modes, I mean they're just different maps and how they kind of like progress in each little storyline. Because like It's kind of almost similar to like Left 4 Dead, where it's like as you progress through the level, there's like little story bits that get unlocked, that
Okay.
kind of like tell the meta of the zombies storyline. There's like a whole complicated thing that I never fucking got into.
Right. So let me tell you what my brain just did.
Okay.
So Left 4 Dead,
Uh,
little bits of story. It's like graffiti, and the characters talk to each other, and it's cool and it's kind of subdued. In my mind, Call of Duty story bit, big fucking flashing story. Chapter 3 unlocked.
nope.
Yeah,
No.
I know. I
Yeah.
know that's not what it did, but that's what my brain did.
Right. But it is very much like in the same realm of Left 4 Dead, where it is like you're just riding around, and while you're killing all these things, like there's little bits of fucking dialogue that characters will say to each other, that's like is like more to the story of like what's going on. I only played one level. The thing is with the zombies mode is, you have to really know what the fuck is going on, kind of. I kind of got a grasp of like how the mechanics work and how how it all works, and it's fairly easy to follow. You basically just, not only do you kill zombies to get points, but you also like do like board up the windows and whatnot to get points, and then you use said points to get like either new abilities that you can use or guns that you can unlock. Okay. And then like it's cheaper to refill the ammo. So you just basically have to remember where that gun was to like run back to and fucking hit the panel to restock your ammo. But they also have power-ups that zombies randomly drop, where it's like it could be refill your ammo or insta-kill or get more points or quad damage. Like there's like shit like that like randomly drops as pickups that you grab. But the one main turnoff for me with zombies is that if you have a good team, and it can get pretty fun, like once you get pretty into the like late game, because it's a horde mode, so you will eventually die. Like that's something that they say right out when you're doing the tutorial. They're like, you will fucking die eventually, and it will happen. But the thing is, like, if you actually do have a really good team, in the one game that I played, we were playing for like a solid 15-20 minutes. Like we were surviving for like a long time. But like, and while it felt like good that we got that far, I also was exhausted after it was over. Like after it was done and I was getting like all my points to like put into new abilities for like the next game and all this other shit, I was just like so exhausted just from playing it, and also just audibly like just fatigued, because you're just holding down your shoot button, because eventually it just gets to a point where it's just like zombies are just constantly coming, and you're just holding down your shoot button, and all you're hearing is just your gun fucking firing at full blast while zombies are fucking howling in your ears. Like it's
like the final chapters of Left 4 Dead, whenever you're waiting for whatever to pick you up.
Yep. Basically that, but it's like nonstop until everybody dies. Which, okay, I can understand, because it's ramping it up, but also at the same time, it's just like, dude, I got so tired after I was done. I was like, why? Yeah. I don't know if I would want to do another 20 minutes of this. Like maybe if it was with friends, like maybe then it would be a little bit more fun. But
yeah, I mean, it sounds a lot just like Left 4 Dead, but instead of getting picked up and evacuated, you just die at the end, which that doesn't seem satisfying to me.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Because at least with the final hold, it's always like, this is everything that you've been fighting for up to this point. This is like the big fucking stand your ground and shit really hits the fan moment. And if you all succeed, then it's like awesome. And that's a great feeling with like Left 4 Dead. Because then at least,
or even if one person makes it out, it makes, like, when 3 people are down and only one person is left, and they just fucking book it for the boat.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they make it. It feels so good, even if you've been murdered.
Right. And it's still like, even with Left 4 Dead, it was still like, even after you're done, I was always like, let's fucking go to the next one. Let's do the next chapter or whatever. Whereas like with
what's the next story?
zombies, it was like, oh man, like it's like I gotta start from the beginning again with like barely having anything, work my way up to getting the points so that I can get the next gun, and then, you know, upgrade from there and all this other shit. So I mean, hey man, if you like zombies, cool. I'm happy for you. But like, I don't know. I see it as potential, but I think at this point, if you're coming late into the zombies mode, like if you've like never touched zombies up until now, like you're just gonna be like, why? What? Okay, I guess.
I could see them, and I know people have said this time and time again. Oh, they should just spin it out into its own game. But I don't think you just do that 1 year as the Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
I think what you do is you have the next Call of Duty, whatever it's going to be, come out. And much like they did the Modern Warfare remaster, you bundle that in the ultra high tier collection as the zombies, Call of Duty Zombies anthology, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only all of the zombie modes ever released.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use that as a platform to launch into, here we've spun zombies out. Because so much of what you've been describing sounds not like Call of Duty.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, like, the UI too is like so different. Like, it's so, like, just visually is just so different. Like, I got into it and I started up the mode, and it was like, as soon as my character loaded in and I looked at the UI, I was like, seems so different. Like,
yeah, what
like,
the fuck is this?
Yeah, like, it is something really different. And I guess that's like really for people if they just want to, as weird as it is, take a break from Call of Duty, even though they're playing a Call of Duty game. Like, this is the mode to play that in, I guess.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I get that, you know, it's got its fan base and people love it. Like I said, I would probably jump in it maybe 1 or 2 more times with friends, but that's it, really.
Yeah.
And that's only if they would really want to keep playing that mode. I have a feeling mostly just to experience it and see what it's like, and then afterwards they're like, okay.
Okay, let's go play Blackout.
Yeah. Which, sick segue. So Blackout.
Thanks, I tried.
Yeah, so I really do enjoy Blackout.
Uh-oh.
The problem is with it right now is which Treyarch did address yesterday, and they are going to work on it, is their tick rate right now is, for multiplayer, it's 20. It's 20 hertz per second, and Blackout is 10 hertz per second.
Oh no.
Yeah. And there have been some engagements where it was like, okay, that kind of seemed fair. Like, whether if it was I got the kill or they got to kill me, it was like, okay, yeah, that seemed about right. But there was one instance where I definitely had the beat on one guy, and I was shooting, and it was just like the registering between him moving and where he was standing and where the bullet was going was just like, it just kept missing him. And it was like, I totally fucking had that dude, but he killed me in the end just because he had a full auto and just unloaded in the general area of where I was, and eventually all those bullets hit me and killed me, and I was like, all right, well, this needs to get fixed. but otherwise, like, it's super fast paced. It's basically everything that I expected Fortnite to be without the building, basically.
So much more like a PUBG.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is like with Call of Duty, the shooting is way more arcadey. Like, it doesn't have any kind of recoil.
Right. I get that. I'm saying from more of a loot loop
Yeah.
type of idea, and
Yes.
bullet physics, like
Right.
that kind of deal, is much more a PUBG. And I think the Call of Duty Blackout mode would pull more from the PUBG crowd than it would the Fortnite crowd.
Yeah, I mean that's also because, fucking it's $60. but
Well, yeah.
but I mean, I'll get to that once I wrap up with the whole package of that game. Uh yeah, I mean, yeah, cuz I mean Fortnite players are going to keep playing Fortnite because it's fucking free. So I mean, that's not going to move. And with PUBG, really, I would kind of only want to get back into it just because the tick rate is better than Blackout right now. Like that's the only reason. It's still pretty smooth, at least with like picking up stuff. At least from my experience, I know some people have said they've had issues with like even just picking up weapons and shit. They have issues with it, but like you don't even have to look at it. You could just like run right by it and then just mash that fucking F button, and you'll just be picking it up. And you don't have to reload as soon as you grab things. If you come across attachments, it'll automatically attach to your weapon if it has that slot available, or if it's for that gun, it'll automatically attach to it, so you don't have to like go into your inventory and like manually attach it and all that shit. It's just like boom, you got it, cool, let's keep going. Like it has a very good system of just being like, just be on the move, just go like which unfortunately with their inventory system, it's a little bad on the PC side. If you want to manage your inventory a certain way, like if you want your primary gun that you're going to use the most on 1, and you want your other gun that you use as your secondary for 2, you have to basically just like throw the gun down on the floor, throw both guns down on the floor, pick up the first one that you want on 1, pick up the second gun that you want on 2, which is like
then get shot and die.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't just be like, all right, let me just fucking. It's not like PUBG where it just shows it all on one side of the screen. You're just like, okay, click drag, boom, there, done. Like,
so it sounds like more of an interface issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, like, man, it's real fucking good. I hope that they do. They said in the next couple of weeks they're gonna fix the network issues across the board, because it's both multiplayer and Blackout that's being affected. So that's basically 2/3 of their game that is bad right now. I don't know so much if it's affecting zombies as well. That might just be more of a peer-to-peer thing, so maybe it's fine. It works fine in that system. But yeah, for something like the multiplayer and Blackout, like they need to fix that shit. And if they do, then yeah, then I'm gonna fucking love Blackout like way more. Because I've been enjoying my time. Even with doing solos, like I kind of want to play with other people. I've been queuing up randomly with random people, which actually hasn't been that bad, especially with some of the random people that are on there. They're actually pretty well. They like talk, they communicate. We worked pretty well together a couple times. They never were like bullshitters or upset if some shit happened or whatever. So it was actually surprising as far as like the community that's in there right now for Blackout.
Wonder how long that will last.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so we'll see. And then the multiplayer. I mean, it's standard multiplayer, but some of the changes that they made, I kind of mentioned when I talked about it with the beta. Some of the changes they made, like their whole health. They removed the health regen system. They fucking axed that. It's now a manual button that you push to give yourself a little stim pack, like heal boost.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, I love it. Just because it's like there's so many instances in previous Call of Duty games where it was like, oh, I just got into an engagement with someone else and I won, but now I have to either wait to get one-shotted or I sit here and wait for the health regen to take forever to get me back to full health. But with that fucking stim pack, it's just like, boom, cool. I can get right back into the action. So it's I don't know. I kind of like it. I also like the abilities. There's only really 2 abilities you can do. That's like class based. But as you level up more, you can swap out the one class ability for
Hmm.
other items, like whether if it's grenades, trophy system, um, all kinds of other stuff as well. But you still have your alt, which is still there. And
Okay.
there's there's some characters that are noticeably better that people will always pick over others, and so they kind of need to balance out the people that aren't picked. Um,
See, that was one thing that came to mind when I saw everyone covering this and saying, "Oh yeah, it's more of a like class-based thing." Is that traditionally that's not what they've done?
yeah,
Like it feels like they're looking at Overwatch as inspiration, it looks like.
hmm
And they've traditionally not been that. So I wonder how well they think they can balance that kind of gameplay.
right. Well,
Oh,
they started doing this in Black Ops 3. They started doing the
oh,
class based thing,
oh, so it's a Treyarch thing then.
kind of funny because it came out around the same time. Actually, it came out a little bit before Overwatch, Black Ops 3. So of course, there's always going to be the argument of like, oh well, who came up with it first, like kind of thing. Whatever, fucking whatever, man. They try to do a class based thing, and they're still doing the class based thing because they still feel like that's still a thing that's in multiplayer, which yeah, it is. Um, I don't know. I like it because sometimes I like playing as one class over the other. Sometimes I just feel like, oh, I'm gonna try this class and mix things up a bit, and we'll try that one, and maybe I'll get fucking surprised and do really well, and be like, oh shit, I
Yeah.
really like this one now. So, there's a fucking medic on in a Call of Duty game. Yep, his ult, you basically boost everyone on your team. You boost everyone's health up to 200.
Cool. That's cool.
And his other ability, which is like on the slower cooldown, is you basically just throw down an armor pack and everybody gets like what they call golden bullets, and it's like it just does a little bit more damage, like it just sets it off just a little bit more kick that those bullets have if you throw it down.
That's really interesting that they would go in that route for that.
Yeah, they also have a recon character that like he's got a sensor dart that you shoot it on any surface and it'll show up on the minimap a little radar, a little sonar, and every time it pulses out you'll see enemies. And his ult is he pulls down his recon goggles and you basically it's like Widowmaker where you just see everybody through walls, except it's through a pulse. Like it's not just like constant. It's just like every time
Yeah,
it pulses out.
like a Widowmaker and Hanzo
Yeah.
mix.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, so like they have shit like that, and it's like, man, that's fucking cool. Like I really like that, and I mix it up. Yeah, I think that's super interesting, and that's what mixes up the multiplayer, and that's what keeps me coming back to multiplayer. Really, if I'm not feeling like Blackout, like I just keep coming back, trying out different classes, trying out different guns, trying out different combinations with those guns. Like, so it's really interesting how they were able to do better with what was in 3, because like 3 was like it was okay. Like I was like, okay, I could see what they were going for here, but it wasn't amazing. But it was like, okay, I saw what they were trying to do, like implement this whole class based system. But I feel like this one was like they fucking polished it. Like they really refined of what these could do, and then added the whole healing system that everybody could do. And yeah, I think it's fucking great. It's so weird. Like this is the one like Call of Duty game that I probably will play as much as I did with like Black Ops 2, because I know I played that a lot on PlayStation. Like I played that a lot.
So it sounds like more of a return to form.
Yeah.
But with a noticeable absence. Do you feel like not having the campaign is really hindering this, or
So that was also the other thing I want to talk about. So they added, I think what it was is they had a campaign ready because they have this thing called the specialist HQ. It is a little button that is off to the side when you start up the game, because there's the 3 main modes that they have. It's multiplayer, zombies, and blackout. And they have this little button off to the side that's called Specialist HQ. You click on that, and it's got like these like pre-rendered cutscenes of like story within the blackout universe that's like continuing the story of 3.
Okay.
Or from 3. And it's this story of like how all these mercenaries basically came together in the multiplayer, like for the multiplayer. It's almost like similar to Overwatch, where it's like, oh, how'd they all come together to all kill each other in the battlefield kind of deal. But the way that, well, the story's shit. but I think that's because they had it ready, and before they were going to refine it or fine-tune the story and everything, they saw all the battle royale modes coming out, and they were like, all right, let's fucking scrap story because that's half-assed anyway. Let's fucking focus on doing battle royale, and maybe we'll do something with what was already made with these pre-rendered cutscenes and story and all that shit. So they threw it into this HQ thing, which is basically just a super glorified tutorial system. You basically you basically go through playing as each specialist, and each time that you play as a specialist, it'll give you a little detailed information as to like what they do, and they give you a little tutorial on performing each of the abilities so you can see how they work. And then after that's done, then it throws you into a little skirmish against AI bots, and then you could like, you're actually playing the game for real, but you also play different modes. Like you cycle through kill confirmed, team deathmatch, control, domination, search and destroy. You cycle through like all those with each different character, so that way you can kind of see like what advantages they have on those modes versus other modes. So you're like, oh, right, okay, this one seems better in this mode than the other one. So yeah, but as you beat each skirmish, it like unlocks another cutscene that is in like the present time, and it like tells more of the story of like what's going on. So like, I don't know, it's really weird. It really sucks how they did it to unlock all of these cutscenes for the story mode, when it's like they could have just had like, maybe they could have just had like a fucking just a list or something, or I don't know. But it definitely seems like something where it was like they had it semi-ready, but then Battle Royale happens, and they were like, let's just push this into some weird fucking mode. Some weird...
Because this shit actually sucks.
Yeah, like, let's just have it there because why not? So
let's instead use it as a tutorial.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt that was kind of weird. So like when people are like, oh, there's no single player, I'm like, there kind of is, but it sucks. Like it's not a real story. It's not a real single player story mode, but it's like they kind of had something that they wanted to do. So I don't know.
That seems like that would be a reasonable way that would have unfolded.
Yeah.
Like someone higher up is just unhappy with what they're doing with the single player.
Right.
And someone else really wanted to make a battle royale, so instead let's do a swap.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, that Specialist HQ thing aside, I would say people always ask like, oh, for a $60 game, is it worth it? I think if you like at least 2 out of the 3 modes, I think it's worth it, honestly. Because, I mean, obviously if you evenly divide it, it's like $20 each game, but like given...
But you can't think of it that way, right, because...
Right.
Yeah, you're right, forced to spend the 60.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, there's some reviewers that I follow who they were like, I think just Blackout alone is worth $60. And I'm like, Jesus, I don't know about that. Like, yeah. I think more of, if you like any of the 2 out of the 3 combination of modes that are there in Call of Duty, like, I think it's worth it, honestly. Because there is a lot there, and they really besides Blackout mode, they really polished at least zombies and definitely the multiplayer. Like they really refined and changed it up enough to be like, yeah, this makes me want to keep coming back and keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope with the tick rate issues, and then maybe some balancing, they'll be able to get Blackout to be like fucking awesome. I just hope that it won't be a thing where, I mean, it's Activision, so they probably will. So I just hope it's not like, oh, well, there's Battle Royale in this, but let's see if there'll be Battle Royale next year for the next Call of Duty game that isn't Treyarch working on it. And then that one will be more refined and like, it's like, no, man, just make it refined now. Come on. At least while it's like still kind of new. But from my understanding,
I also like to have hope.
Yeah. Yeah. But from my understanding, the release date for this Call of Duty title was actually supposed to come out this week. But because Red Dead was coming out after they announced their...
They got the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, they heard the release date for Red Dead and they were like, oh no. So I think in like 1 or 2 weeks, that's where Call of Duty should have been, I think. Which is probably like 1 or 2 weeks from now. But otherwise, I would say right now, as it currently stands, like it's a pretty solid game. They just need to fix. They just need to fix the fucking netcode, man. And then once they do that, I think it'll be like, I think it'll probably be one of my more recent favorite Call of Duty games.
That'll be interesting to see if there's a big patch that comes out right like toward the end of this week, like right when it should have originally launched. And
yeah,
I wonder all that stuff I've always been curious about.
Yeah,
you know, the background of it, like, oh, if all of a sudden we push our release up, does that mean that changes the patch schedule? Is it going to release in a rougher way because we were going to have this day one patch? It's not going to be day one now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird shit that happens with games now
mm-hmm.
behind the scenes that I don't think we're ever going to really know as consumers.
Yeah.
But...
yeah. I've been following the subreddit very closely, and the Treyarch devs do post on there, and they did post a really big they did make a really big post on the subreddit that was concerning the network issues and what's upcoming in the next patch, which they did mention some balancing things, both in multiplayer and zombies. So, and a little bit with Blackout as well. So they are kind of like doing some tweaking here and there, and it does seem like they're still doing that, which is really great. But I don't know. We'll see in the next like 2 or 3 weeks as it comes out. But yeah, I mean, I would say overall, like I'm fucking loving it. I love getting back into it. I know Steve said he'll join me in this journey if and when he feels like it's validated. Right now, I have a couple of other friends that are kind of like, maybe, but I told them, I said, well, you know, the tick rate isn't great right now, but just wait.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know whether if it's fixed or not, and then that'll save you the $60. Or, you know, if there's like some sale that goes on. But we know Activision.
See, that's the thing with me, is that the only way that they'll get me to buy a new Call of Duty is once it drops in price.
Right.
Like, I should actually go through and play through the Advanced Warfare storyline. I should actually go back and play through the Modern Warfare 2 storyline.
Yeah.
Before I step into anything that would be considered a modern Call of Duty.
Right. Well, futuristic, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, we played a shit ton of Advanced Warfare, but I never touched a storyline.
Which is actually pretty good.
That's what I heard. It would be odd going back to it now with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was the one with F, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Press F to pay respects.
I should do that.
Yes.
I should go back and play that.
I still think Advanced Warfare still looks better.
Plus, there's wall running and jetpacks.
Yeah.
You've got decreased mobility, because that could have been the thing to set Blackout apart, is increased mobility.
Yeah. That would have been a lot of fun.
That would prioritize people moving to certain locations over others, and it would be interesting.
Yeah.
Not that it isn't interesting now, but it would have been different. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That would have been its feature. Like, no, we got fucking hook shots and wall running and
Right.
Spider-Man.
Yes.
But oh, cool. I'm glad to hear that you're having fun with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
Is there
that's
anything else you touched?
That no, that's
Yeah.
about it. Even with the last couple weeks, it was just like Spider-Man, just 100%ing my on the hard difficulty, and then I was like, cool, I'm gonna let someone borrow this because I'm fucking done.
I need space.
There's literally nothing else I can do with this.
Oh, you mean you're not gonna do a new game plus and immediately do everything again?
Well, by the time I lent my friend to borrow it, it was just before New Game Plus came out. It was like literally I let him borrow it, and then the announcement for New Game Plus came out.
But would you actually do that? Would you actually, right after you've already 100% of the game, turn around and immediately started a new save to do everything you've just done all over again?
I mean, I'd probably do it just for like the first hour or two, and then that would be
just to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people who will turn around and 100% a game, then 100%. I'm not someone who will 100% a game.
Right. Yeah.
Now, so yeah, it's weird. Not to disparage anyone who does, but
oh god, on the Spider-Man subreddit, there's some mad lad who fucking did it 6 times on all difficulties, twice.
Why?
I don't know, man. Fucking people really like it. I mean, I love it, but not to the point of wanting to play it 6 times and 100% it.
That's cool. You do you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna shit in your cornflakes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Cool. I think
fun.
that'll do it for us.
Sweet.
Supersized social hour to make up for a minuscule news hour. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week, Monday night.
Yes, indeed. With hopefully full cast this time.
We need to talk about that. Anyway, we'll see you.
God damn it.
Next time.
Bye.
Toodaloo.